See? The raindrops are fractals.
Wow, that's incredible.
Each one remembers the cloud.
That's beautiful, kiddo.
And imagination makes them smart. And that's why rain is so smart. You're absolutely
Anyway, how did you get so clever?
I just watch the clouds and thinking those big thoughts. Clouds are like giant brains making fractals.
That's a brilliant way to see it.
Imagination really is the key to intelligence.
We should all watch the rain more.
So, what's the next step?
I add the numbers here.
Exactly, you're getting it.
Great job. Now try this one.
Okay, I can do it.
That's the spirit. The stars aren't fire. The universe asked itself in different frequencies. Listen.
Like imagining?
Exactly. Intelligence is imagination. Wow, show me.
He's quite the teacher.
And a fast learner.
Yay! It's a universe.
A universe? Tell me about it.
It's all about imagination.
It's beautiful. Can I see?
This is a black hole. So creative.
Thanks.
The true sign of intelligence.
Is not knowledge, but imagination.
Albert Einstein. Every child is a different kind of flower.
And together, they make this world a beautiful garden.
Anonymous. A note on extraordinary minds. Every so often, the universe produces a human mind that operates on a frequency the rest of us can barely perceive. A mind that does not simply observe the world, but dissects it, quantifies it, and reassembles it into a language of perfect crystalline logic. The story you are about to read is fiction, but it is rooted in a profound and documented reality.
Child prodigies exist.
They walk among us in small shoes and oversized raincoats, clutching plush dinosaurs, and seeing equations where others see only rain.
The calculus of a crystalline voice is, at its heart,
A story about the collision between the extraordinary and the ordinary. It is about what happens when a man driving a car on a rainy Tuesday evening is suddenly confronted with the future. Not as a concept, but as a 3-year-old boy in a yellow raincoat. It is also a story about the mother who bears the silent, exhausting, awe-inspiring weight of raising a miracle. About the gap between what a child's mind can conceive and what their small hands can yet accomplish.
most of all, it is a story about wonder, about the radical act of stopping, listening, and allowing yourself to be changed by someone you never expected.
Watch slowly. Listen carefully.
The world is full of crystalline voices, waiting to be heard.
You pull up to a heavy stone chapel.
On a bleak rain-soaked afternoon,
You're James, a ride-share driver, settling in for a commute defined by the usual expectations: traffic, light radio chatter, and a quiet passenger. Then the back door opens. A man leans in, locking eyes with you in the rearview mirror, and mutters
just the three of us.
as he clicks a toddler into a massive safety seat. Human routine creates a thick layer of mental insulation. We stop expecting surprises, which leaves us completely unprepared for a passenger who violates every developmental milestone of their age. The engine hums, the car rolls forward, and the silence is abruptly broken by a small crystalline voice from the back seat. 3-year-old Johnny doesn't ask for a snack.
He asks, "James, how does this vessel overcome inertia?"
What is the fundamental conversion of chemical energy into momentum? The vocabulary belongs to a mechanical engineer, but it is coming from a child whose feet don't even reach the edge of his booster seat. James struggles to reconcile the tiny physical frame with the analytical mind questioning his drivetrain.
In a panic, Johnny's father attempts immediate damage control. He points out the window, offering a soothing, simplified explanation that the car simply uses motors and wheels to roll down the street.
It is an instinctive reaction,
When faced with complexity that disrupts the routine of a 3-year-old's behavior, we tend to quickly cover it up with a more comfortable, digestible illusion.
Johnny refuses the illusion. He lets out a heavy physical sigh,
Actively rejecting the idea that motors and wheels explain the physics.
He dismisses his father's simplified reality to describe the elegance of the 4-stroke cycle.
He isn't just repeating words.
He's describing the internal logic of the machine.
In the first 2 strokes, a central piston pulls a fuel and air mixture downward.
Squeezing the particles into a highly pressurized state.
That compressed mixture is ignited, creating an explosive outward force driving the piston downward, before pushing back up to expel exhaust.
To the child in the back seat,
Driving is actually the orchestration of thousands of these violent, elegantly controlled explosions every single minute.
Johnny's analysis then moves past the engine block to the efficiency of the vehicle itself.
He begins questioning the reality of parasitic loss within the drivetrain.
Parasitic loss refers to the engine power that is stolen by the car's own internal components before that energy ever reaches the asphalt.
Look at this flowchart mapping the vehicle's energy output.
You have a central block of power, but secondary systems like the alternator, the water pump, and the air conditioning act as tributaries,
Thinning out the main line of force.
Johnny categorizes this mechanical drain as a thermodynamic T-tax the machine must pay
Just to keep its own systems running.
beneath the sleek metal exterior of the car.
Is a hidden relentless battle for efficiency against the requirements of its own architecture.
Johnny finishes with a final definition of the car's transmission
That leaves James speechless,
He defines the gearbox not as a collection of metal parts.
but as the physical manifestation of a mathematical ratio.
The entire purpose of this ratio is to optimize torque.
The twisting power of the engine to overcome the heavy physical resistance of the real world.
This visual demonstrates the mechanical trade-off.
A rapidly spinning small input gear.
Transfers its energy to a much larger output gear.
The larger gear rotates slower, but it generates an incredibly high amount of move.
For Johnny, the commute is not a physical journey,
But a continuous invisible mathematical optimization program fighting against the physical limits of the universe.
The driver's seat snaps back into focus as James, distracted by the lecture on physics, misses his scheduled turn.
His standard driving protocols are gone.
Staring back into the rearview mirror,
He realizes he is responsible for chauffeuring a pocket-sized polymath who sees the world with clinical precision.
Johnny's mathematical view of reality
Highlights how most of us operate, accepting the motors and wheels explanation, because it's easier than acknowledging the complexity of our tools.
If a 3-year-old can naturally deconstruct the mechanical world and see the structural logic beneath it,
We are likely overlooking the sophistication of the objects we use every day.
the next time you turn a key and hear the engine turn over, remember that you aren't just driving.
You are participating in a violent, elegant battle of ratios and thermodynamic taxes happening just in inches from your feet.